I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, there is a technical outage that has happened.
Yeah.
Beyond
I'm
our
aware. I'm
control.
aware. Automatically it goes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think now the attendees also come down drastically. So this is the issue that I mentioned, and I'll just stop with one point here. Now you are talking about supply chain. Now we have to talk about a safe supply chain, safety in the supply chain. Any labs in the supply chain is the biggest lab. For example, the Hyderabad case that you see, the truck driver who has not delivered in full, and there was no cross check. When you talk about digitization, it is not a digitization at everywhere it matters. Digitization at every touch point. Digitization at every touch point is the biggest challenge. And I think the government of India, as well as the industry partners and the technology solution providers, have to work very carefully with the safe supply chain, safety and security of the supply chain. I think with this, I will stop here. I will take further questions later. Yes, and one small suggestion is the participants or attendees are putting their queries in the chat box. I would appreciate, please look at that also. Right, thank you.
Sure, Professor, we will be taking the question and answer session at last. From here, I will move to Professor Mohita, that India has ranked 44th in the LPI. So definitely there are lot number of challenges. Even if we compare 2016 ranking to 2018 ranking, India has dropped from 35 to 44. How you see that it impacts the MSME sector?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vikas. If we look at the LPI index that we are talking of, and the components of the LPI index, okay, so we find that one of the elements happens to be tracing and trackability, and the other is about the service quality. So these two factors, in fact, are very important for logistics. And maybe at some point of time, Professor Venkat has also touched upon the aspect of trust. Now, when we talk of tracing and trackability, one of the closest ways that we are talking of is, applying all the technologies in terms of blockchain solutions to enhance our tracing and trackability. But on the other side of the continuum, we have, solutions like given by Dabbawalas and the token system that is practiced by the Indian Railways. So those are systems which are totally driven by trust. And you have solutions which are coming up about the blockchain solutions, providing us traceability and tracking, which is a very important part of logistics. So when we look at the continuum of these two solutions, and we also see the continuum of MSME, which is about the street vendor to the manufacturers, like some of the exporters, we have to find in solutions about tracing and trackability for each one of them. And somewhere down the line, when we talk of supply chain competency, this behavioral aspect, as we are going through the formalization of the supply chain process, we are looking at skillings in terms of logistics. There has to be some element of trust and behavioral competency in terms of delivering, the timeliness of the delivery, importance of delivery, importance of timeliness across the various people who are delivering. They realize the importance of this value proposition of time. So somewhere down the line, this whole formalization process of logistics has to address these aspects. Then when we look at the LPI index, the quality element that I was talking of, there also that kind of gap is seen. We talk of the survey, we talk of cost and time as the elements of the LPI index. Again, there is an element of assurance and timeliness that we have to, look at it, which is somehow missing in our society in terms of the importance of time. And when we are looking at logistics sector as a sector which needs formalization, the importance of the timeliness for each value proposition and each of the people who is delivering that has to be, actually hammered into the system, that it is time which, gets the logistics in place. So that value of time has to be recognized across the system as a sector. That is my submission.
Good. So your key takeaway about track and trace and timing. Moving from here to the service provider end, who keeps on interacting with large accounts, small accounts, all type of accounts, because service providers provide service to each and every type of client. My question to Ronak, how you find the differences in the challenges faced by a MSME sector vis-a-vis a large company in logistics? Is there any difference in their challenges, and what type of differences are there?
First of all, thank you, ICC, for having me over. It's a pleasure to be joining everyone today for this interaction. And thank you, Vikas ji, for that question. So the way I see it, that could be some of the major challenges faced by MSMEs in managing the supply chain. So first, I'll be talking on the MSME side and then focusing on the challenges faced by the large corporates. So some of the challenges that are very evidently faced by the MSMEs are limitation of resources. Now, the limitation of resources could be in terms of multiple things. Number one, limitation of human resources. So Professor Venkat also mentioned that most MSMEs do not have a dedicated team or people or function to manage their supply chain function. They may have people who are multitasking, who are managing multiple functions at the same time, like sales, operations, accounting, etc. So the focus is always diluted. This also leads to them not having an in-depth process to manage this function scientifically. And ultimately, a lot of time gets invested in managing the supply chain, which would be at the cost of focusing and devoting time to their core activities such as business development and manufacturing efficiencies, etc. So these are the core activities of any business. They somewhere or the other get compromised, because a lot of time and effort ultimately gets invested in managing the supply chain. So at time, this also leads to frustration and also leads to exhaustion, since you have to deal with multiple service providers, track multiple shipments, etc. So this to me is one of the biggest challenges faced by MSMEs. Another challenge is technology. Also, it is observed that many MSMEs have a very limited IT penetration and do not capitalize on the available technology to efficiently manage their supply chain. There is so much that you can do today with technology nowadays, right from linking your system with your service provider system to ensure seamless data transfer, to making pickup requests online, to retrieving bills, PODs, making online payments, having real-time visibility of your inventory levels, knowing which product is selling fast, which is not, etc. So technology sure does give an edge if used to the fullest. Next is limited exposure to best practices being adopted by different companies across the globe. There are so many things happening all over the world that may help in bringing greater efficiencies to this function. For example, where to consolidate, when to consolidate, how to manage your inventory effectively, how to use data better so that you are able to forecast better and plan accordingly. How do you reduce your lead time without increasing your cost, etc. So these are some things that larger companies manage in a more scientific way, but MSMEs still have a lot of work to do on these things. And last but not the least is economies of scale. Since MSMEs have limited volumes, they are not able to take advantage of the economies of scale because consolidation is not very easy and you cannot hold your dispatches beyond a point. Also related to this, they'll end up getting transactional services and not solutions from their service providers, because it is always the mindset is to focus on transactions and not on solutions. These are some of the major challenges that are faced by MSMEs. On the other hand, challenges that are faced by large enterprises are very different and are mostly in terms of complying with standards practiced by them globally and finding partners who can deliver as per their expectations, complying with their environment, health, and safety guidelines. As for them, these come before anything else and are paramount in nature and cannot be compromised upon. They sometimes also face challenges in terms of managing or adapting to local conditions here, as different parts of the country have different dynamics which are very unique to that region per se. So to each its own. Everyone has their own problems and challenges. So basically this is the way in which the challenges differ for MSMEs as well as how they differ for large corporates.
Good point, Ronak, especially the transactional versus solution approach. Very true that MSME are working much more on the transactional, which is again linked to the Professor Venkat's point of the trust. When there is a trust deficit, it will be a transactional approach. Moving here to the Tapaswi, since he has been long associated as a shipper. So as a shipper, how you see that challenges have changed pre-COVID and post-COVID era? You are on mute. Tapaswi, you are on mute.
I am doing that. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be with you all, and Mr. Ronak, as well as the eminent panelists. So, see, Professor Venkat has set the chord right. He has laid the platform of discussion in the right way. Absolutely. That's why he's a professor. That's what we learn from the professors. Thank you for that. See, that's what I was also thinking, majorly, okay, challenges is one thing. Because I am from an MNC, if you see for us, challenges pre-COVID and post-COVID are almost the same. During COVID, what was done was a bit of exception, okay? But before that, if you talk about MSME and the challenges they would face, I'll tell you that manpower is the main issue. As Professor Venkat said, if you choose the right manpower, if you choose the right person for the right job and pay accordingly in an MSME, then you can go leaps and bounds, The thing is, what happens in the small industries and small sectors is that, okay, fine. Why do I have to pay 20,000 a month? Why do I have to pay 50,000 a month or 1 lakh a month? Why can't a person do that and this? They integrate everything and then, that becomes the problem. Why the corporates are being successful, or else some of the industries or some of the startups or these kind of industries are being successful is because they appoint the right person for the right job, They don't look at the salary band. They say that, okay, talent is what is required. Okay, the savings come later. But initially, if you have the right person, then he can save a numerous amount of money for the company. That's how it is. His thought process, okay, the way he thinks, the way he foresees, all these things matter a lot. Well, that is lacking in the current industry. I have seen one of my recent, one of my persons shared also. He went for an interview and he's like, he went to an MSME, small industry. They're like, oh, your salary is so much. We can't pay you because, oh, you've been shifting jobs, so your salary is so much. It's not about, shifting jobs. See, you see whether the volume of work you have, the vision and the mission you have, whether it is matching with the candidate's experience or not. That is what matters a lot. Then comes all these systems, then thought processes, financials, bankings, all these, where do they come from? That comes from the person. Usually what happens is the CEO, CFO are there. They take the decisions in the company. And they say that, okay, whatever we know is right. But if you have a specialized function, finance, procurement, logistics, planning, so this is where the MSMEs can grow, very realistically and very professionally. That adds to it. Now, if you talk about COVID, see, in COVID times, we work with VTrans is one of our transport partners, not the only transport partner, one of our transport partners. That is, we have around 40 transport partners. Okay. So over here, if you see, during COVID, a lot of shipments were stuck in most of the warehouses. Okay. Now, if you talk about MSME and an MNC, there can be two dimensions. Okay. It can work either ways. And MNC will have strict protocols in place. Okay, if the government says tomorrow for a week there is a lockdown and you cannot work, maybe they follow the protocols and they will not work. But the MSME, you always have the flexibility. You can go out, you can take the decision, and you can convince people and then start working. That's the advantage. Protocols sometimes are a hindrance. Protocols sometimes are advantages also. It works both ways. So you have to balance both the things. So in our case, what had happened was we had lockdown and finally we took the permission from the government. We started executions wherein most of our supplies were stuck in VTrans hubs, But I mean, at that point of time, during those lockdowns where they didn't have labor, where they didn't have drivers and trucks, they were able to still arrange the manpower at the warehouses, arrange the trucks and deliver to the customers, because we were delivering all to all the essential suppliers, okay, essential manufacturers. So our goods were necessary for them to manufacture. So that's how it was. So, and also what we did is we told that the payments during COVID, people were stuck with payments. The payments were not happening to the vendors because they didn't supply. If you don't supply to the customer, then how will the company pay to you? There comes the trust factor. What I configured over there is that, okay, fine, please do not submit any PODs. You have been a trusted partner with us. We know what VTrans is. We know what Agarwal Packers is. We know what so and so is, whoever it is. Do one thing. You have dispatched on 30th. Okay, fine. March 1st to 30th, whatever you have dispatched, we are going to pay to you without POD, but within that stipulated time of 60 days. You can submit the POD later. So that is where the thought process improved, and the payment cycles improved, and also the transport to the vendors or the partners got the confidence. Okay, the company is willing to pay, willing to do this. Then we have to stretch ourselves to the next leg. So that is how they supported. And now if you see, I've standardized that process. Starting from then, now I've standardized that process. So the payment cycles have improved for our partners like VTrans. So these are the type of things the MSMEs also have to think about. And secondly, okay, what happens is that in MSMEs, what you were telling about getting the manpower or getting a supply chain consultant. Now, if you see, it's a gig economy. Okay, today people, the youngsters who just graduate, do one job for 6 months and then learn something, do another job for 6 months. So in future, it is going to be very dynamic. So in that case, there should be an organization which has to have specialists in place. Okay, like say, for example, CI or ICC or many organizations which are there. They need to have specialists in place which can say that, okay, we have a logistics manager in place, we have a planning manager in place, supply planning manager in place, who can be devoted to 4 MSMEs or 4 industries. He would be responsible to handle the logistics of 4 MSMEs. He would be responsible to handle supply planning demand of 4 MSMEs. So in that way, if an organization comes up and has specialized manpower who can devote only to those sectors, okay, on a rotational basis, this will add a lot of value. That is what I see.
Good, Tapaswi. From here, since we are talking the post-COVID era, a lot has changed in supply chain domain. Companies are realigning their supply chain, doing a lot of work. So my question to Professor Venkat, when this procurement is upstream supply chain is changing, downstream supply chain is changing, people are realigning their complete distribution model. In this environment, how you see that MSME sector is realigning themselves? Along with this, in logistics, we have always seen that every company looks cost versus efficient, cost versus supply chain risk. And supply chain risk was most of the time neglected, even a mid-sized company to a large size company prior to COVID. But now large companies, we are seeing a lot of attention to the supply chain risk management, SCRM. But how do you see that MSME is responding to supply chain risk management in this present era?
Excellent question. I would say this is the point that MSMEs are today is able to. I would say that the large companies are at a higher risk compared to the smaller SMEs. Because for them, it is survival matters. During this COVID time, it is the smaller players who adapted the technology much faster than the larger companies due to a lot of protocols. As you can say that larger ship takes a bigger turn, or rather larger ship needs a larger vehicle, needs a larger radius for maneuver. Whereas this is like a small toy. The MSME is like a small toy. And it is the resilience or the flexibility in their DNA, and their ability to adapt to technology is it is the MSMEs who has adapted these digital technologies much faster than its counterparts. That is where their reconfigurable ability, their ability to adapt to the changes is much vibrant or resilient. MSMEs are much resilient than the larger companies. Empirical studies have proven that. That's number one. Number two, adding to Tapasvi's wonderful point, it is the challenges or the empowerment, trust. Along with the trust, the empowerment is very important. In larger companies, there is a protocols, etc., etc. In a smaller companies, unless you are empowered, the last mile person is empowered to execute the transaction, it's not going to work. So I would add this trust and empowerment, or like right and left of right hand and left hand of a human being. You need a trust. At the same time, it is the empowerment. I trust you, but you are not taking empowerment. So what will you do? So these are the very two, it's like a twins of the same, or both sides of the same coin. And coming to this digital technologies adaptation, I'll just quote one example and then I will stop. There is a small company called, Sharda Exports Aquarium, etc. in Vizag. Do you know that they use blockchain technology for supplying shrimp to US Walmart? Very small company, very, very small company. You can even go and see today. And of course, it is a highly transport intensive or logistics intensive. It's not only ordinary product, it has to be managed, complete control of the temperature, etc. Through the chain, this company has adapted a blockchain and the digital technologies where you can monitor what is the temperature while on transit. To that level, companies in India are able to adapt and do this. That's number one. Number two, I will tell you, handicraft industry, that where I was associated. The buyer sitting in Europe wants to know in which factory and who is doing this work, whether there is a child labor involved or not. The digital technologies, the way they are using to convince their ultimate buyer that this is a genuine product and there is no duplicate. This is what I mentioned, the safety and security in the supply chain, that is possible only through technology. And these proactive MSMEs are able to adapt. Cost is not an issue for them actually. If there is a revenue, they are ready to put the cost. If there is a assured revenue and the cost is upfront and they are ready to put that. And I would say the risk-taking ability of MSME is much, much higher than the professional company. I'll give third example. I will stop there. You all know you are in the industry. Can you look at the share price of today, stock price of Shree Cements? I'm sorry to use the name of the company also, because I can't give an example by hiding the name of the company. Just look at the share price of Shree Cement. It is a family-run business. And every other cement company is a professionally run company. Now you see the share price difference of this company versus other companies. Actually, the challenges are much higher for a professionally run company than the MSMEs. People don't realize this is the challenge for me. You are the owner of the company. You are the owner of everything. You have utmost flexibility. You can even break, as Tapasvi said, you can even break, government guidelines. Sometimes, their MSMEs are worked by closing their door. During this pandemic time, tell me how many MSMEs are really closed. They closed the front door and they opened the back door and they have filled all these emergency orders. They were working actually. So I will stop with one final question, final suggestion. When you talk about challenges, please understand, it is not my challenge alone. I am a service provider to a big company. If I don't supply today, my loss is X amount. But for a larger company, the same loss due to delay in my delivery is at least 5 times more. I may be supplying a bolt and nut. If the bolt and nut is not reached the OEM, the cost of OEM is much, much higher. Please note this point. I cannot become better if my supplier is not better. That integrated approach by the OEMs has to learn from Toyota model. MSMEs in this country has to follow that my OEM wants to survive? Because I have to make them better. If your driver don't come, where will you go? You have the vehicle, you have everything. If your driver doesn't come, where will you go? So the challenge is not independent, my dear friends. My challenge is bigger challenge for you. If your servant maid is absent for one day, you just go and check how much struggle that these people are facing. Just one servant maid. One servant maid, if you cut her salary, it doesn't matter for her. So please take care of this. These challenges are not independent. That's the point I want to make. That's all. Thank you.
Very good point, Dr. Venkat. That different, you have put a different perspective, especially in terms of risk taking by the MSME, because they can take higher risk and can do multiple ways and find out the solution vis-a-vis in a structured organization. And another point which you have very well put, that integrated ecosystem. It's not only MSME, ultimately failure of MSME will somewhere impact on the larger enterprise as well.
This workshop should have been for both. This workshop should have been both, you know, for example, VTrans is there. You should bring the VTrans suppliers and both sides.
So coming from your point only, I will move to directly to Ronak. When it comes to the MSME sector, getting the attention to the MSME sector from a service provider, how you think that companies are putting attention to the MSME sector, especially as a service provider, and how you are collaborating with the MSME sector in solving their problems?
Yeah, thank you, Vikas bhai. So the way the industry operates is that everyone has a certain well-defined vertical or channel approach that they work with. Service providers have a certain set approach when they work with larger clients. So for example, when VTrans, you know, Henkel happens to be one of our customers, and Mr. Tapasvi would also agree, you know, with the points that I make. So when VTrans, as VTrans, we work with a client like Henkel, we've got a dedicated key accounts team. We have a single point of contact who is a one-stop shop for any queries that Henkel may have. He or she understands their psyche very well. They even know their expectations. He or she also knows who their important clients are. So basically, you know, we have a dedicated team. You know, when we work with large clients, you know, that team is dedicated to working with them, and that team knows the history, geography, the entire background of a large company. So it's not a, you know, a lot of to and fro that happens when you know, they interact with each other. And for the client also, they have only one person whom they are coordinating with. That person in turn will coordinate with 10 or 15 people, whoever he or she needs to at our end, and will be a single point of contact for them. So that is the approach that we work with when we work with larger customers. Similarly, when we work with smaller clients, you know, what we do is we've got a 24/7 call center with whom clients can contact anytime to get their queries or grievances resolved. We also have multiple digital platforms available for them. So something like, you know, our website, our mobile application. We've even got a web portal called VTrack, where the clients can log in and they can make use of various features like tracking their shipment or making a pickup request, etc. Another important avenue through which, you know, we connect with our MSME clients is at the branch level. So by this, what I mean is that each branch has a limited set of customers whom they deal with at their level. So for them, these customers are their key customers, because, you know, for that branch, you know, if, for example, Andheri is a branch, you know, for them, you know, even the local customers or the MSME clients whom they work with, their bread and butter, their performance totally depends upon that client. Hence, they have a great relationship with them, you know, so, you know, they've been dealing with them. Fortunately for us, even the attrition at that level, at the branch level, is one of the least in the industry. So they've built a relationship with the client, you know, which is, you know, built over a period of time, wherein, you know, our people understand what the client's requirements are, and they offer them solutions. So, you know, there are multiple, you know, levels at which these engagements happen. Also for us at VTrans, MSMEs are actually very close to our heart, because we started our journey with them almost 62 years back. And we were an MSME once, so we understand the pain points, you know, that they undergo, you know, when they don't get the desired support from large service providers. You know, the service providers could be from any sphere of business. So, you know, when a company operates, they need services, they need products, you know, and they buy things from multiple agencies. So when the desired support is not given, we deeply understand, you know, what does it feel. So, you know, at our end, we want to support the MSMEs, and we would love to be a catalyst for their growth. In terms of collaboration, I think one example which is very fresh in my mind, you know, that comes to my mind right now, is what we did during the lockdown. So during the lockdown, we hosted a series of webinars for our client, So we organized 4 or 5 webinars, invited distinguished people from various walks of life to speak on different topics, like how are they coping up with the lockdown, what are they doing, how what are the different things that they've adopted to come out of it, what are the best practices adopted by industry leaders, how are they capitalizing on technology, how do they remain optimistic. That was, I think, one of the most important points, because everyone had thought that the world is going to end, in a way. So people didn't foresee anything. They had almost, some people had almost given up. They felt that whether or not, when will we ever come out of it. So it was very necessary and very important at that point of time to remain optimistic. So we had some certain sessions where we invited people from the coaching background, who were leadership coaches, who understood psychology, and they spoke about how it was very important to keep ourselves motivated at that point of time. So this was a beautiful wonderful platform for knowledge sharing, where we also learned along with everyone, and our customers, mostly MSMEs, also deeply appreciated our effort. So these are, I think, some of the different ways in which we collaborate with them, and this is, I think, one of the freshest thing that is in my mind. Even today's session that we've done for MSMEs is, I think, one such example. So yeah.
Good. The approach which you have taken to associate with the MSME sector, especially in the lockdown time, is really appreciable. One point which has come very well, that MSME sector lacks the resources, lacks the certain analytics tools, advanced tools. My question to Professor Mohita, that what will be your suggested approach for MSME sector to improve the efficiency in such ecosystem and reduce the supply chain risk, primarily for the supply chain?
Thank you, Mr. Vikas. If you look at, GEM that is there by the government of India, it has been a success story wherein a platform has been given, wherein all the MSMEs could showcase their products, and then the procurement, it was a success story. So what I feel is similar kind of collaborative platforms which can come, which can actually, each of the MSMEs is looking at, looking at the trade-offs in terms of getting the technology vis-a-vis the cost that would be incurred. So if we have collaborative common platforms, and now it is the time of platform ecosystems. So if we are able to have some platforms, whether it could be in terms of the blockchain technologies which are there, which would provide access to these MSMEs and provide them sectoral solutions, then that could actually help each of the MSMEs. I would just give an example of the Coffee Board of India, wherein Coffee Board of India has provided us blockchain solution to the farmers and the brewers of coffee to access their blockchain technology, which has been provided by ECAS software, to reach the customers. And the customers are, the coffee paradox that is there, wherein the value was not being given to the farmers and the people who were at the bottom of the value chain. It was possible to provide access, and at the same time provide transparency in the system, which would help us in terms of tracking also, which I was stressing on, in terms of, because the element of tracking and tracing is very important, because it actually allows the value to be delivered across the supply chain, and the basics of the producers are able to get the value. And when we are talking of MSMEs, the value proposition is very skewed. So somewhere down the line, if we are able to provide platforms for, it could be a government platform which provides accessibility, it could be a platform which is owned by a corporate, or it could be a collaborative platform which is more about a cooperative way of being. All three propositions can work. It could be in the public space, it could be in the private space, and it could also be in the cooperative space, because each MSME is not able to get the benefits of technology. But if we are able to provide that platform, the cost that would be incurred by each of the MSMEs would be much lower. So somewhere down the line, we need to have some kind of a platform, whether it comes from the public space, the government provides the platform, or if Ronak, I think somewhere down the line, what Ronak is providing is along the same lines in terms of a platform to all the MSMEs. And somewhere it could also be in a cooperative space wherein a sectoral solution is provided by the MSMEs of a sector joining hand and looking at solutions and then having an access to it. So all three propositions are welcome and acceptable and actually would give value to MSMEs. So when we are looking at, providing, and nowadays, in fact, the smart technologies, when we are talking of social media and when we are talking of analytics and we are also talking about cloud computing, the costs have come really down. So now the value proposition is in terms of providing integrative solutions, and that can actually help. A platform-based approach would help the SMEs. That's my submission.
Good point. So your much more attention is, yeah, coming to you. Just give me a second. Your point is going towards that SaaS-based approach, the technology platform that can be much more helpful for the MSME sector, which can
because it is not about only SaaS providing a technology. Now you have so many integrators, and these could be in-house integration that could be provided. The moment we look at SaaS and other things, they are the problem is with all such solutions is they are very expensive. Like the ERP solutions that we used to have.
It's not only ERP, anything paper used is a sort of solution.
No, I'm talking of SaaS solutions, which is coming from a big software company. It becomes very costly. It's not it's unviable. So we could have, sectoral solutions which are typified, which adds on to the problems of the sector also. That's my understanding.
Okay. You are, or something government initiative like e-procurement, something like that.
Yeah.
So coming to the Tapaswi, how you see that MSME sector's openness in adopting these technologies? Because first we started that lack of trust, those things also still prevails in MSME sector. And these are the family run business. Many a times the openness to the technology is not very high, because the entrepreneurs who have understood or the unlocking potential of the technology they are adopting. But as a overall sector, how you see the openness towards this adoption of the technology from the MSME sector, not from the large enterprises?
Yeah. See, Vikesh, because two things to it. See, one, if you see, now we have, for an example, you told even VTrans is kind of an MSME, okay? So that means that even in VTrans, you have technology which they have implemented elaborately, okay? In every end, in terms of track and trace, in terms of call center, in terms of everything, in terms of giving the visibility. That is why, because you see Ronak Shaw or Viral Shaw, it is a family-run business. But all these people have gone to the B schools or some schools, and then they have met people. So they have understood what the world is, what the industry is, what are the industries, implementing. So based on that, although it's a family-run business, because the drive is from top and the top is very much educated in terms of, understanding what is required. So that drives down also. So that's how it is. But for example, if the MSMEs, even the top leadership is not to that extent, exposed to this kind of things, then it becomes very difficult, because a person down the line who's earning some 20,000-30,000 a month, he goes and says to his CEO, boss, look, we need to have visibility in system. We need to have track and trace wherein I put a GPS and the GPS costs around 800 a shipment, 500 to 800 rupees a shipment. I need an order management system, where in order management system per order, if we can spend 200 per order, then we will have end-to-end visibility of the order. When the customer has given the order, whether we had the material or not on the first delivery date, or did we fail in terms of ECSL? So all these things can be tracked. If the person goes and says to a person who can't understand this or doesn't know about this, then he will say, no, look at what you have to do, do your business, do the things right. That is what we want to do. So it all depends on the culture and the leadership. That is one thing, how the company is perceiving. Okay. Secondly, as Madam said, Mohita ji, as she rightly said, the systems, now, why are we talking about MSMEs? We are not talking about corporates because corporates know what to do, how to do, when to do. Okay. The problem is with MSMEs, and the government is also trying to support them. Okay. One is financial support. Giving financial support is one thing. Second, I talked about is giving a manpower support in terms of, specialized support that I already talked. Third is, as ma'am said, it's about technology. Now, why can't government have a portal wherein they have this supply chain software, okay, developed by some people around, okay, and have that software wherein the MSMEs can log in and use that portal to manage their supply chain, rather than for an MSME to go and procure a supply chain software would be a task. If the top management understands, that's fine, but if not, then it would be a task. Okay. So if they have separate logins for individuals, how we log into our IT or wherever it is, Gmail accounts, you have a software wherein you have all your data managed on that software provided on a government website, so that you have the confidence that the data is not shared in between. You have the trust. So because what happens is, now you have in MSMEs, you have these departments, everything happens because everything is not properly managed. After a year or two, then you come back and realize that, oh, I have lost a lakh here, I have lost a lakh here, I have lost 20 lakhs here, I haven't reconciled this, the material hasn't reached. Then what happens? You have to close your books, write off, losses. So that is the reason the softwares and technology is very important for the MSMEs also.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody has written on the chat very interesting thing, that MSME are younger brother and sister of big corporate houses in business service families. So that's the line they have written. I cannot say be younger brother and sister, but definitely the point which Professor Venkat said, that collaborative ecosystem, because ultimately somewhere it impacts failure of MSME, also impacts on our results of the large corporates, directly or indirectly. So coming to the another point, that because that person has talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, and MSME sector contributes 40% of our exports. So Professor Venkat, how you think that with the changing things, technological evolution, all these things in the global procurement, Indian MSME sector is performing and is expected to perform or grow?
Yeah, I think this guy has touched double, one hit, two birds kind of thing, Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. And, this is what I have done at least about 5-6 years back in 2015 itself. And these are the 5 pillars that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir has mentioned along with Srijan Pal. I'm sorry for saving time, I'm just showing it like this. And we had organized a few workshops with the support of SIDBI, IDBI, and Gisbird at our campus. The response was fantastic. Let me share 2 things out of it. The many SMEs, when we called from IIM, they said, IIM? One of the biggest difficulties that they were not able to dare to come to IIM and sit here and learn. They think that their qualifications is much less to go for a training in IIM. I said, I'm not going to train you. I'm going to listen to you. And they are not asked to pay. Bank has supported that activity. I have reached out personally to more than 100 people, That day, unfortunately, in the morning, there was rain. It was also Monday. So please do not organize Monday and Friday MSME conferences, MSME activities. Today is a wrong day for this conference also, for this webinar also. Monday morning. This is the first point. The second point is they are afraid of your language. We are talking about Western language. To start with resilience, SAS, this, that, etc. अरे भाई, हमारा local language में बात करना है. The first the problem of access is the communication language. I use Hindi in my normal the training classes also, but the problem is I don't know much Hindi. We are westernized. First thing that we have to talk about is what Tapasvi said is the culture. What is my culture? UP has a different culture. Madhya Pradesh has a different culture. In NCR, we have multiple cultures. Conducting a program in IIM Lucknow for the people who are coming from 4 different states is a big difficulty, I'm telling you. So one of the things that you talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, we have written an article also on Atmanirbhar Bharat, the toy industry, the supply chain is a wonderful scheme. People are not aware of these schemes many a times. The reason is they don't have. And Ronak has mentioned that call center. Earlier, it is the common facility center. Today, I would call it as a common facilitation center, 24/7 call center. This has been done by Ministry of Agriculture on what do you call that, organic farming, 24/7. It is the Madhya Pradesh, which is number 1 in the country, which has started with the call center for farmers around the clock. Anytime you can call. So you have to put both offline and online facilitation center in MSMEs. There should be, it's like a clinic. It is like a telemedicine kind of thing. When telemedicine can be delivered, can't you deliver tele-advice? How do you operationalize? These are all number of things are there. Operationalization is the key. For Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India, whatever you can call it as, I should be able to reach out to the advice anytime. For example, let us say Tapasvi is sitting about to sleep. He got a fantastic idea. You want to clear that idea. Banks have 24/7 call center. So many things are having 24/7 call center, emergency system. Does MSMEs has an advisory call center 24/7? I would even request to ICC, please put 24/7 facilitation center or whatever you can call it as. It's like a police emergency system. It won't cost you much. You will generate much more money. The bank call centers are very busy during the night. Is the night is the time that you have some tricky ideas. You want to clarify that idea. And you might have seen in WhatsApp where this has been operationalized. With no cost, almost zero cost, it can be done. So with that, I will stop, my dear Srivatsava. You have touched upon Atmanirbhar Bharat in a big way. And in fact, I have listed down that point also. The 5 trillion is easily possible, but it requires a lot of effort towards bringing all these people together. That's all my side, Vikas. I don't want to.
Sir, very valid point and practical learning. You have told that Monday morning and all those things.
Absolutely.
But when you say that call center and all these things for MSME, one of the experience I will also like to share with us, although that willingness to adopt and willingness to listen is very.
I'll just stop you there for a while.
Yeah.
The FASTag, we are working with the FASTag now. I don't know how many of you are using FASTag. You have no choice. I will come back to all the panelists here later. When government made something that there is a benefit, see, you look at Aadhaar card, you look at the many cards that have been offered. And today, Aadhaar card is the one which has saved India from COVID time. Thousands, lakhs of rupees have been transferred without even knowing to the beneficiary. Technology, there is no doubt. Once the people convinced, and now COVID has made this everybody to realize that without technology, you cannot survive. I would say 3 things which are made clear by COVID. Everybody knows what is supply chain now, thanks to Honorable Prime Minister Modi Sahab, that he has mentioned one of the 5 pillars is the supply chain is one of the pillars. I think we are going to, we already started a good times for supply professionals actually. So none other than the Prime Minister of the country is talking about supply chain. Everybody knows now, the children in the school knows what is supply chain. The second thing is the awareness about health. Everybody has become everybody aware that what is this COVID, what all the viruses are there, thanks to digital technologies. And third one, which I would say is that without digital, you cannot survive. And I would say that the FASTag is the evidence for that. I think FASTag and UA bill is going to change the landscape of this country. And I think it's going to be a logistic-driven economy rather than anything else. That's my personal opinion. Thank you.
We
Yes,
completely agree with
times
your-
are changing very fast. Times are changing very fast. People have realized without technology, there is no survival. Yes.
We completely agree, but on the MSME point, I was giving one more example. That's my personal experience.
Because everybody knows, as you know, the earlier Dr. Acharya also mentioned that we maintain multiple accounts.
Yes, but
The moment you put IT into place, there will be only one, and then automatically it comes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Technology is definitely one of the biggest things. My last question.
Yeah.
My last question to Ronak. Ronak, being a service provider, and in India, most of the service providers are themselves MSME. They are not a large companies. It's not like that majority of the logistics or supply chain service provider are the large companies or the global conglomerates. Most of the share, even if you take the trucking, 85% of the trucks are owned by the smaller service provider. If you take the warehousing, very few companies are there which are managing millions of the square feet of the warehouse. Most of them are still FMCG and pharma is managed by the CFA sort of operation, which comes under the MSME. So it's the sector is highly fragmented. How do you find their capability in serving their small and large client and managing their expectation? When their technology is one thing, they are also going digital, but how you find their capability?
So, because I think you correctly hit the nail that still a large part of our industry is still unorganized. 85% of trucks are owned by the unorganized sector. Only 15% is owned by the organized sector. I was just reading an interesting data. Companies which have more than 100 vehicles, transporters which have 100 vehicles constitute less than 0.5% of the total industry. So I think it is still definitely a large part of our industry is fragmented. It is unorganized. But again, when we look at our industry, it is a very large industry. It is almost a $150 billion plus industry. So it is one of the largest industries and contributes about 13 to 14% of the overall GDP of the country. And so basically, having said that, it is also a collaborative ecosystem where different companies can coexist together. Each company, I would say, has its own niche that they have created for themselves. The smaller players typically are more agile and flexible in nature and have developed certain capabilities to cater to businesses on certain routes where they are strong. So they've identified their strengths, they decide to capitalize on that. So if supposing there is a transporter who is very strong on the Mumbai-Pune corridor, then that is the corridor on which it further strengthens its capacity and focuses upon that. They have identified these smaller players also have identified industries and client base who they work with, and they meet their expectation. Because they work with limited people, they understand the pain points, they understand the nitty-gritty of that business, and they are they can provide the best solutions around it. And they also because they are relatively they have smaller operations so they can also offer a very personalized way of solution providing. Whereas when you talk about any large company, a large domestic or a large multinational who is in the industry, they have a more scalable model. They have deep technology penetration, they have deep knowledge of the industry through their experience over the years. Clients who require single window solution usually opt for services from these larger companies. Larger companies also have standard SOPs, they have a standardized way of operating things, and they have a solution-based approach with which they work. So depending upon the client's nature of demand, they select the suitable service provider. So even though our industry is fragmented, it is unorganized, everyone has its own share of pie that they work with, because the industry itself is so large and everyone has their own strengths upon which they capitalize on. So in the interest of time, I think I would like to sum it up, with a brief, explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a wonderful discussion where ultimately, definitely we have concluded that technology is having no second choice, whether it's the large enterprise or a small enterprise, everybody will have to adapt the technology. And one point which has come, that agility is very much required, and coincidentally that MSME sector can be more agile than a large corporates because of their small size. So that goes in their favor. Now we will be concluding this session. If there is any question, somebody is having any question, can put in Q&A box. Otherwise, I will hand over the dais to Dev Malia.
Vikas and the organizers, I think there are only few participants. Some of them may be interested. I think that is very much required. At least 2-3 participants can ask some question. I'm sorry for intervening here.
So, Professor Venkat, yeah, this is Devmalia Banerjee. So, as of now, we don't see any questions. If there are anything, then maybe we can possibly get in touch with each one of you individually.
Right, no problem.
And I think, I was listening to what Mr. Khetri was, moderating the session. You mentioned about FASTags and other technological aspects. The program from the very inception in morning was very nice. We had the Honorable Minister of MSME from Government of Uttar Pradesh attending the program. And then we had a wonderful, panel discussion one. And again, this panel discussion was focusing more on logistics, the multiple parameters of that sector, as well as the technological challenges, abilities and inabilities. So it has been a very, very comprehensive discussion that took place today. I'm sure the attendees, although the number of attendees has dropped after this technological outage when you were speaking, have benefited out of the deliberations from so many august speakers and panelists today. The Director General of NIMSME from Hyderabad was also there in the morning. She enumerated the activities that the institute is doing. That's under Government of India. So thanks, Professor Venkat, for taking your time out and coming. We look forward to working together on future occasions. Thank you, Professor Sharma. Force School has always been academically supporting us wherever needed. I know Professor Jitendra Das for many years now. We had traveled to Mauritius together in pre-COVID days, and there, he spoke at one of the, seminars. So, and that was the ICC delegation. We called on the Prime Minister and President of Mauritius also. That was a few years back. Please convey my regards to him. Thank you so much, Mr. Tapaswi, for joining this program, and Mr. Shah. VTrans is an evergreen supporter of ICC initiatives. You are a senior member of our fraternity here, and this is the second program that we are doing along with you. I'm sure your organization will also leverage the networks and the opportunities that emerges out of such kind of deliberations as a member company. We look forward to working closely with your organization for the next financial year too, so that you, the objective of supporting the MSME, the mission that you have taken, gets fructified at the most convenient manner. Your colleague was there in the inaugural session. He spoke before the Honorable Minister, and now you are here. You added a lot of value in terms of the data and in terms of the logistical sectors, the ability, inability, etc. What are the challenges? I used to handle logistics for ICC a few years back too. And we even got Dr. John Gatorna, the logistics guru. So we had a very strong panel, and trust me, irrespective of political dispensation, every union minister of road transport, be it Oscar Fernandez, be it Nitin Gadkari or Mansukh Mandaviya, they all are regular visitors and speakers at ICC Forum. We even organized, IMT car rally, a lot of things on logistics we have done. Not only in India, across the world, in South Asian countries too. So I'm sure the value that you are also bringing on board as a member, we are getting benefited out of it. I'm sure ICC acknowledges it, and on behalf of ICC, I'm acknowledging it. We look forward to working with your organization for forthcoming times.
I think it is the age of synergy, and synergizing and collaborating. I think, that has been the theme. So I think, we should collaborate together, and
we will
definitely, we'll make a world a better place. Yeah.
Rahul is doing an excellent job.
A lot of people benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. He will coordinate, and the next year plan will be drafted wherever, you will get involved. So thank you so much for coming on board. And Mr. Khetri, kudos to you for wonderfully moderating the session, asking the right questions. Thank you so much. With this note, I would like to propose closing of this session, today's program. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.